conversation. So I sat back and waited. And so today I felt like there was something worth announcing. And so we actually put together $30,000 over this week. I have a foundation. So I actually have a foundation. My wife and I run our foundation, and then of course my company. And so we created what we call the Startup Relief Fund. And so if you go to fund.learn.com, fund.lurn.com. So fund.lurn.com, you can apply right now for anywhere from $50 to $500. If you just need some help getting groceries, need some help getting medications, like necessities, emergencies, necessities all over the world. If you've got like this, for me, I was like, you know what? This is offering some solution. This is us coming together as an industry, and it's really meant for entrepreneurs. So like really the tagline is entrepreneurs fighting together. This is us because we entrepreneurs, we have a lot of people that we cater to. I can't tell you how many students I have that I've sold courses to that are learning entrepreneurship. Well, it's our time to give back to them because a lot of them are waitresses, flight attendants, bartenders. They've lost every penny that they make. Like I've talked to so many students this week. So, and then the cool thing is we put it out there and all of a sudden people are like, hey, I want to contribute to this. So we've already raised $13,000 for fund number 2. And that's coming from outside sources. And I've got big conversations today with some pretty big companies. I think we'll raise another 30 grand by tomorrow for fund number 2.
Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah. So what I think what I want to share to everybody is this. I don't care what you can do. Figure out something you can do that's positive, that is solution driven and not fear driven. Now, not everyone's going to be able to contribute money. I get that. But can you check in on your neighbor? You don't have to go over to their house. You can still do it in a social distance way. You can call them. Can you put together like what Amber, like what you're doing? Can you put together something where, maybe you don't have public reach like Amber. Maybe you put together a group of 7 or 8 friends that connect every day. And what can you do? Anything that you can do that is not what everyone else is doing. Every little ripple moves us towards resolving this problem. Every little ripple. You know what? If all you do is a daily connect with 10 of your closest friends for 30 minutes a day, that's 30 minutes those people are committed to not being outside. That's 30 minutes they're not moving around and spreading. So you know what? That little step is actually fundamentally helping us hit the top of the curve and like stop the spread. And that's the mindset with which I've been really functioning and working. It's like every little thing that we can do, I want to do, instead of putting on the news and going, oh my God, we're all going to die and the economy is crashing and I've lost all my money. Look, my dad is retiring in 2 months. The man he's hurting. I feel him. 30% of his retirement account he spent his entire life building is gone. Right now, I'm not worried about him because he's got, both his kids are going to take care of him. It's fine. But he's worried, right? So can I call him every day? Can I just check in on him? My dad likes to get work. So I'm just giving him work. Like I'm literally making up work and giving it to him to keep him busy. And so I know I wanted to give everyone a little paradigm shift there. What can you do? Anything, something small, but positive driven, solution driven, not what everyone else is doing right now.
Wow, man, I can't even, the way that you're showing up and creating that relief fund is really, really powerful. A lot of respect goes to you. Anything that we can do. I know my team has already put it in the comments below, like, we'll continue to spread the word, of course, as well. But anything else that we can do to support you and your efforts, we definitely want to do. Kayvon and Heather, what are your reactions to that, or add-ons or new topics that you want to add?
Yeah. So for me, again, that's first class of Anik, and I don't, I wouldn't put anything like that past him. So Anik, we'll talk. I'll see what I can contribute financially to that fund as well. For me, so again, that email, when you said that email, that copy, I saw your live when you did that, Anik, and I saw you were like going to go, call people out, and I was like, oh, this is going to be, this is going to be good, because anything that Anik, says gold, as you know. But what came up for me right away was that a lot of people, unfortunately, in North America don't actually understand what's really happening right now and how serious this is. I personally, on my team, I got salespeople. I got one salesperson whose wife's on death row right now. He was brought into the hospital with his little child to say goodbye to his wife. They think it's time to say goodbye to his wife. I have another salesperson on my team whose sister's in the hospital. So this is as real as it gets. I'm fortunate enough to have a network of people. One of my best friends is actually in infectious disease, internal medicine. Like, so this is exactly what he's been working on. Hey, the decisions he's making right now are decisions of do people live or do people die? And this is real. So my theory in all of this is I don't, again, like I'm not educated enough to even go down that road. And I tell people I'm not going to go down that road. It's not my profession. My profession is, okay, what do we do in times like this? So for me, I believe that there's two things happening. And like Anik, I'm blunt, so I'm going to say it, right? But I believe two things are happening right now. There's the reality of what's actually happening, which is scary. And it is serious. And if people don't get inside, it's going to continue to happen. The people I see on the beaches partying, it's beyond me. It actually gets me really mad. I don't even want to freaking think about it. Like, this is serious, people. However,
I have to say, my client this morning, his son was there and now thinks that he has coronavirus and is on his way home. And my client is pissed. Very.
I don't blame it. Like, we're not educated. Here's the problem. Our brains are actually not designed to understand the magnitude of what's going on. So unless you understand like science at a really, really deep level and numbers at a really, really deep level, our brains are not designed to understand like what this pandemic actually is and how it actually perpetuates if people don't actually take what I'm calling self-ownership and self-respect. Have self-respect. If you want to be like, if you're going to be selfish, at least be selfish for yourself so you don't get it and stick inside. You don't stay inside. But back to what I was saying is that, so you have this reality of happening, but I also think something else is happening. And it's what I call the invisible, what I'm calling right now is the invisible opportunity. Now, I'm not talking about the opportunity to profit from people. I'm not talking about the opportunity to go out and take other people's money and sell to them. I'm talking about the opportunity of self-change. Whether you want to believe it or not, this world is already changed. It's not, oh, it's going to change. The economy is going to look different. No, it already looks different. And it's going to come back. And yes, it will come back. But when it comes back, it's going to be different. It won't be on the same train tracks as we once were. Mm-hmm. So for me, now you get me excited, right? Is I look at this as an opportunity for you individually to look into the mirror and ask yourself, how can I change? Because whether you like it or not, you're going to be forced to change. And you can either stay in the person you once were, the mother, the father, the sister, the entrepreneur, the person you once were, or you can take this opportunity to actually look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, is this the moment I can be someone different? Can you read an extra book? Can you go back to the books you were reading? Can you take another course? Can you learn? We're talking about all these people that are losing their jobs. This is the moment that they can sit inside and start to acquire new knowledge. You don't have money? That's okay. Acquire new knowledge, learn, think, be different. Every day I'm asking myself, is what I'm doing today, the thoughts, the things, the people I'm speaking with, is that going to serve me into the new future? And if the answer is no, I have to change that. So I'm saying this to those people that are in fear. Everybody's in fear. I woke up in fear, but I have a different, I can either sit in my fear and let it control me and let it dictate the decisions and things I do today, or I can look at this invincible opportunity I'm talking about. And these are for those people that I hate my job. They've been sitting in their jobs for a couple of years and they've been wondering. Or these people who have had these ideas or things that were like, I wanted to go online, or I wanted to figure out how to make an additional income. Or those people who've had relationships. I'll tell you right now, me and my significant other, we just brought in our therapist. This is the best time more than ever to bring in our therapist. We're going to be self-isolating together. We're going to be in the house together for the next, God knows when. I want to make sure my communication is effective. I want to make sure our relationship gets stronger. So to me, in this time of turmoil, in this time of what the reality is, like it is a bad situation, we can have our self-responsibility, our self-respect, and use this as an opportunity to do something different with ourselves, with our families, to invest into knowledge, into time.
I really value that you just said that. Thank you for sharing all of that. And I do think that for people who were in corporate, you had a restaurant, you had a brick and mortar, business, whatever it was, now is an opportunity to read and to learn. And most importantly, it's to share. And to Anik's point, I think share something proactive, share something that's going to move us forward. And I
That's
keep
the word I was
encouraging.
looking for.
What?
I could not come up with proactive. That was the word I was looking for. Yes, I literally spent 5 minutes talking. I was like, what is that word? It's proactive. Now I can sleep at night, Amber.
You're
Thank
welcome,
you.
friend. But it is important that you share. So I keep encouraging people to just live stream. I swear, I keep telling people I'm going to break the internet or for sure Zoom in the course of getting my message out. But live streaming is 6 times more powerful than just a pre-recorded video. And that was a stat from like a month ago. So who knows how much more powerful it is now. And even if you don't have an offer, you have nothing to sell, just share your message and then wait to see how people respond and react to it. Then survey that audience, see what you can do to support and serve them further. And that becomes a natural offer. And you could create an amazing online business for yourself by just being you, being the best version of you, sharing a positive message, helping others, and then paying attention to the response that you get. Heather, I definitely am curious to see what's happening in your world. Now, I have the advantage of, I've been talking to Heather almost daily. She is a very special, special human being. We are really honored to have her here with us today. What's going on in your world? What feedback do you have from these guys' messages? You have the floor.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the consistent message is, one, showing up to serve. But 2, it's controlling what you can and letting go of what you can't. And it's really hard to do in the day-to-day. But I have found that at least a lot of my clients, I've been going live. I've been live streaming every morning at 9 a.m. And, but some people are like, oh my gosh, like I set my alarm. I make sure that I'm getting up just to get this pep talk, make sure I'm starting on the right foot. But so many people are going to that place and we all have the worry, right? But they're going to the place of they're just constantly on social or the news, and they're just getting in this spiral of, I can't control anything. And so that's not helpful, right? Like it doesn't help their well-being. It doesn't help move us forward. So don't get too attached to your plans, right? We don't know where this is going or how long this will last. But you do have to be nimble enough to be flexible and to be talking to your people. Some people are experiencing, quite frankly, a business boom right now because depending on what you're doing and who you're serving, people need you and desperately are seeking your services. Others, it truly is, you're stopping, but that doesn't mean you have to stop talking to your clients, right? So even if you have a salon, like literally, right? Like you can't do someone's hair right now. You can still be speaking to your clients and connecting with your clients and staying in front of them. And you might be surprised what creative solutions you come up with. And knowing that things will change, that they're not going to be the same, the best way to get in front of that is to be connecting, to try to control what you can, let go of what you can't, so that when it comes around, you have such a great opportunity to bring about something new that might be better for you and your clients. So I just think right now, the best thing for all of us to do, what I'm trying to do, what I've had a few clients reaching out, like saying, why am I doing this? And I'm like, I don't know. Why are you doing it? Why not get curious? So I come from a mindfulness perspective. And so it's always about watching yourself, checking out those emotions, and then wondering, well, why am I going to that place? And what if I went somewhere else? Can I get curious about what else could be a possibility? Can I get curious about what the next opportunity can be? Can I get curious about what I might want to learn? Can I get curious about who I want to evolve, to be in this crisis? And if you still are struggling to shift your mood, then take it off of you and put it on someone else. Right? Like if you are serving and helping others, it's really hard to stay, you know what I mean? Like within your own fear and your own worry. So I love this. Just give, but don't give everything away for free either. That doesn't really help you or the economy.
Yeah, you need to sustain. What you just said, I loved it. It actually triggered something in me that I feel called to share. Talking to clients, keeping them updated. On Sunday, which feels like months ago, Sunday, I sent an email to all of the clients that we're building websites for right now. And I told them what to expect. And, you know, we're strong, we're secure, we're better than ever. We're here to serve you, blah, blah, blah. But I also invited them to a town hall meeting today, this morning at 9 a.m. Open Zoom call. Anybody that wants to come, let's talk. And in the conversation, this gentleman, Max, was telling me that he has a brick and mortar business, 200 employees, has to shut down. What's the future going to look like? Amber, what should I be thinking of when this ever does start to turn? How can I, you know, be strategic and revive my business and get things running again? And I said, look, I can't predict right now a strategy that you should be putting in place 6 months from now or 8 months, like whenever that is. You will know when you get closer to the time, because that's way too far out that anybody can really predict too much right now. But I said, what I feel is that you should spend this time connecting with your community as deeply and intensely as you can. And if you spend this time just building personal connection, relationships, reinforcing them, nurturing them, when it does start to shift, Max won't have to have all of the answers. He will just need to call upon his community that loves him and would do absolutely anything for him, and let his community revive the business and carry him forward. So that's why I feel called to just lead right now, without any idea of where this is going to take me or anybody else. But the answer is lead, connect, go deeper than you've ever gone before in relationship, and let your community help revive you out of this in the future. I like your heads nodding. Yeah.
I think we all agree, right? There's a couple of things coming up, and one thing, Heather, you said was, which kind of came up for me, was you said, don't be giving away everything for free. And what came up for me is, like, you know, I believe like right now is also a time that you have to be 100% selfish right now. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, so that tomorrow you can be completely generous, right? A lot of people are, if you give, and you give all yourself, then you have nothing for yourself. It's just like, I always say, just like the plane. When the plane, they say, when they, you know, getting you ready for the plane, if the oxygen max drop down, what do? You put the oxygen mask on yourself first, then you put it on your child, because you won't have the time to put it on your child. It's kind of the same thing here. And what I'm hearing here, which I love, is like, I believe, and I know some of you will agree with this, I believe there's going to be two really buckets of people right now. They're the ones that are going to be doom and gloom and worried, and they're going to stay in that, and I hate to say it, more that kind of victim mentality, and they're either going to ride it out, or there's going to be those people as well in that kind of bucket that are like, wait, man, more time on Netflix, more time for me to, you know, just do nothing and not grow. But I believe there's going to be a small bucket of people that, again, that see that invisible opportunity, that are going to allow themselves to do something different and change. But here's what's going to happen when this gets back on the tracks. Those people that are moving in this, right, moving forward, moving to a new direction, they're going to be so far ahead of the game. And all these other people in the bucket that decide not to do anything, they're going to be chasing their tail. They're going to be running after, and they're going to be saying, oh man, I should have listened to Amber. I should have listened to Anik. I should have listened to Heather 2 months ago, but it's going to be too late.
Yeah.
It's going to be too late. And I'm really here to encourage people to like take this as an opportunity to ask yourself, like, what can I do different? And how can I set myself up properly for the new future, so that when it comes, I'm sitting in the stands, eating my popcorn, watching everyone else try to play the game. Well, guess what? I already won. Yeah. I've won the game. I ended the race.
Yeah, and I want to add to that because I completely agree. I love the fact that don't give everything away for free, and don't look in the end, right? Like, there was also some people that said, "How can you be?" So I had a product launch that was planned for months. We've been working on it, right? And it went live last night. And so we have lots of ads that are running big time on YouTube and on Facebook for the last like week and a half. So it was actually some people that came to me and proposed like, hey guy, you should probably take that down now. Like, it's insensitive to what's going on in the world. And I said,
thank you for addressing this.
Yeah. And I said, you know, I don't understand. I'm not using, it's like I'm watching TV right now, and I see a commercial for sandals. Resorts. I'm sure they bought it ahead of time already. Like, I'm not offended that they're advertising. It's just like, actually, if anything, it adds a little bit of normalness to the world and to life for me. Like, there is still someone advertising to me like they do every other day when everything is okay. I don't know if you've ever like met someone. So I've had a lot of health issues in my life, a lot of like medical illnesses. I've been like hospitalized, almost died, and had to like relearn to walk, go through physical therapy. It's crazy, right? And I can tell you, during that time, the worst thing you could do to me was come to me and patronize me and say, "Oh, are you okay? Do you need anything? How can I help you?" It was like I craved for someone to treat me the way that they always did. I craved my friends to come up to me and say, make fun of me, and say something, like say a joke, or, like the usual stuff. And so I feel like an advertisement is that it's some level of normalness, like we're used to being advertised to. So I refused. I said, you know what? I'm going to march forward, because here's the other thing. I have 46 employees, and they're counting on me to make sure they get their salaries. So if I pull back on all of this stuff, I got to make sure I'm paying, because I pay their salaries. They pay for their families, like more now than ever before. But here's the other thing. Like, I could have easily said, "Oh, I want to give all this away for free," or whatever. And like, no, I'm not going to, because it's 17 years of knowledge I've put together in a program. It was already so inexpensive. So last night we went live, and here's the cool thing. We had 3,000 people on our webinar at one time from all over the world. I went with them for 4 hours. I taught my heart out, and we sold, and it was great. And it was very profitable, and everyone was really happy. And so I want to tell everyone who's running a business, like, you don't need to be shy of selling your services and products. It is okay. It is still okay. Sure, maybe you can be a little flexible for someone who's in need or whatever. That's your personal choice. But you don't have to give away everything for free, and you certainly don't have to stop business. If anything, add normalness, march forward, contribute to the world. I love what Kayvon said. Like, you know what? I'm not going to stop. Actually, it's a really funny story. So this is a true story. I'm a little embarrassed to say it, but I'll say it anyways. I legitimately went and dusted off my Xbox a week ago when we were going to go into a quarantine. I literally had to dust it off. Like I blew on it and like dust flew off. I'm like, oh wow, this is where the term comes from. Like, I dusted off my Xbox. I wiped it down. And so in my head, I'm like, I'm going to have all this time. I don't have meetings. I don't have filming to do. There's no studio. And so I'm going to have all this time. I'll play a little video games, and I'll probably binge Netflix a little bit more, watch a couple of shows I've been want to catch up on. Honestly, since Tuesday, I don't think I've ever worked this hard my whole life. Like, I've been literally from morning till night. My wife and I have a joke. Like, she works in the office right next to me. Our offices are connected. I'm not even making this up. Yesterday I spoke to her and I said, I have seen you less this week when we are quarantined together in the same home than I do at work. Like, because she'll be on our top floor, I'm on the bottom one. Like, I'm just working. I've never worked this hard. And I love it, because I know that for every 5 minutes I'm doing something, I'm reaching someone. But Kayvon, you said it, man. While everyone else is taking a chill pill, I'm getting ahead of the race. Like, I'm learning. I love what you said. Read a book.
Just do
something out loud. Read a book.
I'm going to ask you to address something here, because out of everybody here with the most experience, and I know you've seen these, ups and downs, because I got my clients too right now that are entrepreneurs, and they've literally taken their foot off the pedal, where I'm telling them, this is the time to slam, like, speed it up. Let's get going. What would you say to them? And because I tell them my version, I keep telling them, but I can tell it's still not landing. There's just so much fear that, well, I don't know how long this is going to go. I don't know how long I can stay in the business. And they're like, stop advertising. And I was just like, oh my God, you're going to then continue the advertising when everyone else decides to start again. Like, it's just not going to work. Right. So what would you say to those business owners that are actually like, are in fear? They're afraid to keep the doors open, especially the ones online when it doesn't involve having to, face to face.
You know what? I actually had a conversation with one of our top students just like 2 days ago, I think. And I gave him the whole, I felt like I'm teaching like my, excuse me. I felt like I'm teaching my nephew. I gave him the tortoise and the hare story. And this person, he doesn't even spend any money on advertising. He just does free stuff. And he does pretty well. Like, he's he enrolls clients. He does, as a matter of fact, I've seen results from his clients, which is so awesome. Like, I've seen his clients get results that happen to be my students also. And he's getting off the pedal. I said, what are you doing? He's like, no, because his services are starting at $5,000. He's like, no one's going to buy my $5,000 service right now because they don't have any money. Like, people are losing their jobs. And I said, wait, I don't understand. So walk me through your typical client. He's like, well, my typical client are entrepreneurs. I said, what kind of entrepreneurs? He's like, a lot of them are online businesses. They're coaches or consultants. And I'm like, so are they losing their business right now? And he's like, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of fear. I said, has anyone actually said this to you? Has there been like someone actually said, no, I cannot afford you right now? He's like, I guess not really. And I'm just listening to him. And I said, listen, man, you were running and getting ahead of people. You know, you were just killing it. And now you're going to take a nap. That's what you're going to do. You're finding excuses. So I just called him out on for what it was. I said, you're using this as an excuse. And I said, the other thing is, this is very selfish of you. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, okay, how have your clients done? You charge clients $5,000. Give me the last client you had. And I actually happen to know this one client. He took his advice, his services. He actually went off and built this little funnel and he did $55,000 from it, right? That was a client's results, 5,000, 55,000, 10X return. I said, so every day you are pulling back because of your paradigm and assumptions about the fact that other people can't afford you, you're ripping people of 10X ROI. So how much would those people love $55,000 right now more in their bank account to help them give back more, do more, buffer their bank account, protect their families? And the guy's like, he's like, I didn't think of it that way. I was like, by the way, I can afford $5,000. How come you haven't come at me for something? You know, I can. Said, worst case, change your clientele. If you find out that your business, your clientele can't afford you, this is the time. Everyone else is out. Change your client. Get in front of a new client, change your ad, get a new ad. CPMs are down on Facebook and Google by like 30%. Okay. Ad approvals, they're being a little bit more lenient. Like, get out there, utilize that opportunity. That is not you profiteering from coronavirus. That's not it. You profiteering from coronavirus is when you go out and tell someone, hey, here's how you make $1 million from coronavirus. That's wrong. But you selling your services and helping people isn't. So that's what I would say. It's selfish if you're pulling back, honestly, if you actually have a good service for the world.
And Amber and I, we were just talking about this personally offline because my mastermind group, high level mastermind group, I mean, these are really successful women with wonderful businesses. They were, because we run in sessions. And so there's 6 more weeks in the session. And they were like, well, my goals have changed. I can't do anything. And I'm like, wait, what? And so I'm like, no. And I'm literally, for each one, I'm like, you can be doing this and you can be doing, like, there's so much opportunity here. And they didn't see it because, right, they were in that fear mode. So they didn't see the opportunity right in front of their face. And I said the same thing. I was like, guys, I'm working more now than I'm already a bit of a workaholic, right? But like, I'm working more now than ever before because there is such a need for leaders and an opportunity to show up and serve in a way that you normally don't get to. And same thing. We have a launch that was already going to go. And we wondered, should we do this, not do this? And that lasted for about 5 minutes because as a team, we were like, no, people need the normalcy more than ever. So the only thing that we have shifted is we went in and we changed copy. We changed language. I updated videos so that we can, it's basically recognizing where we are, but not changing the fundamental of what we actually offer and how we serve. So we're going full steam ahead. We're running ads, and the response has actually been really interesting because most people are saying, because it's an annual, like we do it every year, they're like, thank you for still doing this. Like, I so look forward to this. It is so nice to have something that I can still do and look forward to because it does provide that sense of normalcy. And if you are pulling back now, totally agree. You're going to get left behind. There is such an opportunity to just show up, serve, and really propel yourself so that like you are clearly a leader. Like this is such, and it's not manipulative, right? Like it's not as if you are taking advantage of people, but to say that you're not going to step up and lead during a clear opportunity, that doesn't make sense to me. That tells me you're not really a business person.
So let me give you guys some examples because I've worked with multiple different clients in different industries, right? And I just want to add this one thing. What we've been saying is when so these clients, these people, Anik's example and some of your examples, Heather, is what's happening is they're running away, but we're trying to tell them run to. When everyone else is running away, you run to this, right? And so I have clients in, for instance, Amazon, for instance, right? Oh my God, right? That teach people how to they literally teach you how to make money online from Amazon. Like hello, right? And so all my closers, the clients are like, oh my God, I don't know, it's 10K. And I said, are you guys like, listen, you're telling yourselves, is this a story or is it a fact? The story you're telling yourself is nobody wants to spend money. Everyone's, holding their money and they're all scared. And it's like, that's the story. The fact is more people are consuming more content right now. And guess what? After a couple months of this, they're going to be sick and tired of Netflix. And guess what they're going to start doing? They're going to go home and they're going to start looking at how to make money online. How can all those people that realize that they don't have jobs when this thing comes back on tracks are going to be looking for ways to make money online. What better time than right now today than to invest in a course like that so you can actually learn and take the time to do it right versus when you invest in these courses when you're working 9 to 5 and you don't even get through them. Like, do you realize the world is giving you an opportunity to change? It's saying change. And people are running away from it because people don't like change. And I'm saying run too. I have an amazing client who helps people get their content out there, and shows them how to get there more effective and way more easier and in front of more people. And instead of running away, we got to run too, because there's more people than ever, more business owners than ever need to learn how to effectively and efficiently get their content out there. I had one client, and I'm going to end up pretty soon here, guys. Sorry, I'm just passionate here. I have one client who was doing live events. He was solely on live events, and he's freaking out. And I said, man, just change the live event and do a live webinar. Give it the same feeling. It's not a sales webinar. Do what you do at these live events. Well, guess what? His closing percentage on that live on online was 20%, and went to 25%. He had a 5% lift. That's huge. His model, his business just changed. And then the last one, because this is the one, and I hope he's listening right now. I have a client
I love this.
Who helps the top 10% of students get into the top schools like Harvard and Duke. And can you imagine all those grade 11s right now? And I know you guys call them juniors in the America that are needing to apply to these schools, right? And they need to write their SATs. And the SATs, they've held the SATs, so the dates are going away, but you still have to write the SAT. Do you think that Harvard University come September is not going to be accepting students? Hello. So what does that mean? That means the window is smaller. The opportunity to get into these schools are getting shorter. Don't they need your service more than ever? The parents are scared. They don't know what's going on. You're an expert and you're trying to retract. It's like, let's go all in because they need you. They want you. They need your support. We have mentorship. All these kids are at home. Do you think parents know how to teach their kids from 9 to 5? They don't even know how to take care of themselves, no offense, let alone their kids all day. You have the opportunity to teach these parents how to be able to create structure and harmony in the household, as well as connect the parent and the child that much even more. Don't run too, right? Run too. And I'm just so passionate because there's so much. And that's why I say, when I say there's so much opportunity, please know, I'm not saying we're taking advantage and we're not speaking about the reality. The reality is this is still a very bad and scary time, but it's how we look at it. It's what we do that can change the world, and it can change the difference of where we're going to end up. So don't focus on the person that you are. Focus on that person you can become, because that's going to be the difference in 3 to 6 months when we get back on track. And yes, to the world, we're going to get back on track. It's just going to look different. And it's how you deal with it that's going to be the game changer.
I love this track. And I want to encourage us to look back on maybe the past 5 client conversations that we've had. And I wonder if we can talk about like some real advice that we gave to those clients based on their situation. So like with the example of Max, I suggested he go do a bunch of live streaming, dig into his community so that he can use that community to get his business off the ground. Yesterday, Carolyn Soldo was talking about how she was encouraging her spa client to shift strategies. So just think back on like the past 5 or 10 client calls that you've had, or colleagues have contacted you saying, hey man, this is what's going on, or hey Heather, this is what's going on. What tactical advice have you given them in those situations?
Well, I had the one client who wanted to retract on Facebook ads and spending money. And I said, okay, instead of going against and trying to convince them to do it, I said, all right, what are other ways that we can look at getting in front of people? Well, we did exactly what we've been talking about. I told her, why don't you just do 2 webinars, but don't call them webinars, call them trainings on what to expect when in the times of these times of for your child and in school, right? Well, 1 email, 1 live post, 700 parents showed up to the first webinar. We only had spots for 500. As you guys know, Zoom only takes 500, right? We had 700. And then I encourage her, and I don't know what to do. I said, well, as you know, not everyone shows up. Don't open up more spots. Just keep it to the 500. And then we'll do an encore 2 days later. And because on the encore, we're going to change a little bit of the messaging because it's changing so quickly. So we're going to give more new information. Well, the encore was yesterday, and we had another 400 and plus families show up. So without even spending $1 on ads, we literally got to speak to over 1,000 families who are hurting, but are also in need of what we are offering. It's out there. You got to be creative.
So one, I had a very simple, quick conversation. So I had the one that I told you, right, where we talked about this isn't the time to pull back, but same conversation. This is a conversation I find myself having a lot, whether it's through our Facebook groups or like I'm talking to people directly. They want to pull off of ads, and this is something I teach when it comes to marketing, not just ad buying, but just marketing in general. Those who run marketing with emotions are going to fail. Pure and simple. Maybe not today, maybe tomorrow, maybe a week from now, you're going to fail. If you always run your marketing with emotions, you're going to fail. I am an incredibly data-driven person. I only run marketing with data, numbers, and stats. That's what I look at. It makes life a lot easier. Data never lies. Numbers don't lie. Emotions, and they have no opinions. So when I had one of our students actually say, hey, I think I'm going to stop my advertising. And this person he very specifically consults a specific type of online business that, let's just say, I can see not being widely impacted by this, maybe even helped by it. Probably more needed right now than ever. But he was like, I don't think I want to do any more. I'm going to pull back, cut by half. So why? He said, well, I think my conversions are going to go down. So I asked for the data. Show me the data. What's your cost per lead? Oh, actually,
did we lose him?
He'll come right back.
Oh,
he's the man. Gosh.
Oh yeah,
You
Anik's
guys
the
are
man.
awesome. Yeah, go ahead, Anik. You're back on.
Oh, sorry. I don't know what's going on with my internet. So I was just saying, I asked the person to look at the data and commit to 2 more days. I said, would you be willing to risk 2 days of advertising to give me data that your conversions are down? And he was like, yeah, sure. I'll do that. And in 2 days, he calls me up and says, my conversions are up by like 20%. So my cost of advertising is down. My conversions are up. I said, so what do you think? You think you should go ahead and cut back the advertising? He was like, actually, I was thinking about raising my ad budget. So again, let me ask you guys this for like the tangible advice I give you. I'm not saying go run and do more ads right now. That's not a relevant advice to most people. Like some people might be in industries you should really pull back on ads, but can you make that decision through data? That's my request. Show me the data. All right. And if the data says go. If the data says pull back. Then what I think, what Amber thinks, what Heather thinks, what Kayvon thinks is irrelevant. It's irrelevant. Data says everything.
Yeah.
That's really good advice. What comes up for you, Heather?
Yeah, I mean, so a lot of my clients tend to be kind of experts, consultants for others. And just 2 quick examples would be, so I have one, she is a consultant for senior care living and was working on a particular program that doesn't seem relevant at the moment, given what's going on, because they have different issues. And so it was really a matter of, yes, but you still help people, right? They need you more than ever now. You're just not offering that program. You're offering the program they need right in this moment. And you don't have to make it beautiful, right? Like you don't have to map it all out. You call them right now and say, hey, are you struggling with this particular issue? Do you need my help? Here's the way I would propose I come in and do this, right? And like, they need you now. It's not a matter of I've got to wait until all this dies down until they need what I was offering before. I have another, she's actually an attorney, and most of her clients, it's around wills and estates and medical directives. And she's in California, right? So they're in shelter in place right now. And so she was like, I can't get to my typical clients because they're not online. so I can't do a webinar or anything. And so then it's really saying, okay, but they need you. So how do you get in front of them? And does that mean like researching, are you allowed to get out even though you're in a shelter in place situation? Because these are the people who need you more now than ever. Calling up the senior communities and others like that, talking to their and asking like, what are you doing? Are you going door to door? How are you getting things to people? And then just coming up with, here are the resources. If you need a medical directive, and like just have like a piece of paper that you literally can put on their door, or that says like, if you run out of food, like it, you know what I mean? Like part of it can be your law practice and part of it's just a resource, or if you have adult children that are needing. And so it really is just getting creative and saying, my people still need me. But how can I show up for them in this moment and get super creative and how I'm getting in front of them?
Yeah. And you really have to protect your own mindset to maximize like your creativity, right? And keep that high performance going. So I just have to add on to that, like keep resting, protect yourself, give yourself some downtime. I have a huge range of clients. I have people who are just startups trying to figure out how to get online. And I have a client that is producing hundreds of millions of dollars annually in direct sales. So it's like kind of everything in between. The client I just mentioned, they did a lot of in-person events. Okay. Well, with this happening, they had to make a very hard pivot. Now, with bigger corporations, they already move like molasses. I mean, it's like dinosaurs. It's really hard for them to make fast pivots, but they have their kickoff to their biggest sales time of the year is now. And so in the middle of like the most important time of their company, now they can't do in-person events. And so they had requested like an emergency strategy session with me, and we talked about how to go virtual. Now, at the same time that we were having this conversation, I have my own 2-day in-person event. We were supposed to be in Lidditz, Pennsylvania with 50 authors, teaching them how to market and launch their book. And so it was kind of neat that we were paralleling this experience. And I shared some tips with them that I'll share with any of you that are still scrambling, trying to figure out how to make the most of your virtual events. Some of the things that we are doing for our Author Up Live event. Number one, the week leading up to our live event is all about networking. It is all about networking. We pulled everybody into a Facebook group. We asked everybody to contribute a 1 to 3 minute video. Like, tell us about you and your book and some fun facts about you. So now everybody's sharing these videos and having fun and commenting and showing pictures and stuff like that. And that's just one of many little things that we've been doing, trying to build rapid connection before the event even takes place. Because you imagine 50 people pop into a Zoom room and it's like, I don't want to talk. You talk. I don't want to say anything. I don't know who you people are. It's awkward. So what can you do in advance? And you can even be thinking about this in a one-on-one sales environment. I mean, stretch your mind to think about how the advice that we're giving you can apply. How can you make your prospects feel more comfortable with you before you even get into a sales call? So I think the creativity can spin off there. Another thing that we're doing is on Sunday night, we're having a 1-hour cocktail party on Zoom before the event starts. So it's like, I don't care if you bring water or juice or a bottle of wine or whatever your thing is. I don't care if your kid is sitting there with an iPad, like let's get in and just be social and have some fun. Like let's loosen it. We're going to start by addressing this. We know this is the state of the world, and we're going to set an intention for what we want the next hour to be. And a couple of last things are, number one, we've had to shift our agenda. You know how in-person conferences are. It's like all day, all night, you're burning. You can't do that in a virtual environment because you'll burn out very quickly. So we had much shorter segments. We had more breaks built in, and we're just trying to give people some space to absorb the content. But another thing that we're doing is, instead of just talking down at our audience for 8 hours, we are pivoting to create more small group exercises. Using Zoom, you can actually have like small group breakouts, and you can even randomize them. So it's a different pairing every time. You could do 2, 3, 4 people in a room. And basically say, go in, talk about this one thing, come up with a pattern or a theme, come back after 15 minutes, and one leader of each group can share whatever, insight they had out of this discussion. And then we can kind of collectively come in and have some great ideas that are being shared, some great strategies. And I'm leaning a lot of this advice from John Berghoff, who had a phenomenal 30-minute session with us on Wednesday. You can go back into the archives on the NGNG page and watch that. Look for John Berghoff. It was outrageous. But those are some of the types of things that I'm sharing with my clients who have had to have hard pivots from in-person events. Now they're going virtual and kind of scrambling. In our last couple of minutes here, guys, do we want to do like a popcorn lightning round of like last tips, last thoughts, last messages?
I was actually just going to say, through your conversation there, Amber, I just had an epiphany. I said, well, wait a minute. And in hearing Anik and hearing Heather's, so I just want to offer this actually, is if you have a business, or if you're thinking yourself, I don't know what to do. My clients, they don't want to buy this. And you're having, let's just say, a sales problem of how to position it, message me personally. I'll no charge. Just I'll get on a call, listen to you, and I'll figure out if we can spin it in a different way, not in a way I'm going to take advantage, spin it into the way of that new opportunity. So with that being said, the last things I would say is like, forget about what's missing and let's start focusing on what's available.
Love that. What about you, Heather, Anik?
Yeah, I would say, because I loved what you were saying, it's really not about how do I make this just fit here. It's how do I take what was I trying to accomplish in the first place? And then how do I still make it work? Right? How do I still make it work? And so like, let go of all of it, get your whiteboard out and start playing around. I mean, we're taking all of our live stuff because we do so much of it with companies and things we host. And we are 100% confident we can still get the same results because we're not just trying to force the live event exactly into a virtual. So the way that you approach that is you just say, how can I still get someone the same results, and get super creative and curious and play? It can actually be a lot of fun. You might learn a new way of doing something that's even better than you were doing before. And I will say a plug for Monday. I don't remember the time. I'll be interviewing Indrani and Licky, and we're going to be talking about speakers and live events and how to make that shift. So
awesome.
Right. Yeah. So if someone fits in that, come join us on Monday.
Yeah. So on Monday and Tuesday, because I am hosting Author Up Live virtually, Heather has just been such an outstanding support during this series. She's actually coming into my Zoom room through the NGNG channel to keep the series going. So she has interviews lined up Monday and Tuesday. So definitely subscribe to the NGNG page so you don't miss, because we're going to go through next week. And I'm even looking at extending it another week because I've had like 6 new speakers join the lineup even in the past couple of days. This thing is going viral. I'm grateful to everybody that's sharing. Please don't stop because we are giving so much goodness. Please don't stop sharing. But anyway, so Heather, thank you for your leadership, and that definitely come back on Monday. And Anik, man, it's perfect to have you wrap us up. Gee whiz.
Yeah. So you alluded to it a couple of times, Amber, and I thought it was brilliant advice that I never hear. And you were kind of going right around it, but I know what you're getting at. And that is, this is a perfect time to build an audience. No better time. So in the last week, I'd say 9 or 10 days, as part of our launch, I built a brand new Facebook group called Silent Sellers, which is all for copywriting conversion experts. 10,000 people are in it in the last like 9-10 days. So you know what? Can you get 100 people into a group? Because people ask me all the time, like, hey, Anik, what do I do to make money? Like, how do I make money? And the truth is, in the end of the day, you need an audience. You need someone who pays attention to you, who you have some form of influence over, that you can help. Right? That you can offer something they want. So can you start a group? Can you start a LinkedIn group, a Facebook group? Don't start a page because they're not nearly as good. Right now, start a group if you're going to do anything that have the most organic reach. You could start a Slack group. You could, I don't know, there's so many ways to put, and you don't have to do thousands. You just need, start an email list. You could start an email list and start getting people to subscribe to your email list. Get an audience. You're stuck at home. You have nothing to do. Study a little bit, read like Kayvon said, learn something, execute on it. You know how easy it is to start a Facebook group? It'll take you literally like 3 minutes, tops. Get that group out, post it on your public, on your personal Facebook page. You'll get like 6 or 7 members from that. Spend a little bit of time, email some people, say, I put together a Facebook group, come join us. You'd be shocked and appalled at how quickly you'll have 100, 150 people in there. If you just take time to muscle it out, send some messages, message some people. And that's when it'll start to grow. All right. That's all it takes. So start building your audience. You have a undistracted moment right now. Utilize it, build an audience. We'll figure out how to monetize it later. Get an audience first. And trust me, that's the easiest problem. My favorite clients are the ones that come to me and say, I got all these people that love me. I don't know how to make money from them. I'm like, oh my God, like, please,
that's a good
dream client, you know?
Yeah, that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it's a great problem to have. Yeah. And it's an easy problem to have. Yeah. Go have it. Seriously, go have it.
Honestly, I was telling people before all of this happened that it wasn't about the size of the list that mattered. It was about the quality of that list, right? Because people would say, oh, I only have 30 people on my email list. And I'd say, imagine you are talking in front of 30 people right now and you're saying that's nothing, that those people don't matter. Like you can do a whole lot with even one person. Okay. So 30, that's amazing. 300, grow it into something else. I think it continues to come down to making the connection count for me. And my parting advice, I don't know if I saw this like on a fortune cookie. I feel like I did. But what came up for me is the only way through it is through it. Right. And so for those of you that are still in that deer in headlights frozen mode, and you're just trying to come to terms with what's even happening right now, because there's a percentage of people that in crisis, they toughen up and they lead. There's a percentage of people that just freeze because they don't know what to do and they're scared to make the wrong decision. So if you are in that deer in headlights, only way through it is through it. Wake up, get support, take an immediate action, even if it's a small one. And thank you for being a part of this Elevate series, guys. I thought this was a brilliant and powerful discussion. I hope it goes viral. I hope it is replayed for months to come. Thank you for everything that you gave to it. It really means a lot.
No, I want to thank you for putting it together, Amber, because I can tell you this takes a lot of work. And for everyone who's watching, this is not easy. Kayvon made a mention of it, like what you put together in a couple of days. Like this is a lot of work, especially reeling people like us in and just getting us. I know it because I've tried to rally speakers together, especially during this time when all 3 of us just said we're working harder than we've ever worked before. Amber had to cut through that and get our attention. And so kudos to you. Hats off to you, Amber. Seriously, thanks for putting this together.
Appreciate you guys. Have a good weekend with your family.